Are you getting slammed harder than the servers in the Marathon Server Slam? Let's fix that. Greetings runners, Rampant here. Today is day 2 of the Server Slam. Been seeing some people online who have not been having a great experience in Marathon, feeling confused and struggling to survive and manage things like ammo economy. Many of these are struggles that come from the fact that this is a game where building game knowledge is a huge part of finding success, and in the first few hours of play, there can be a substantial amount of friction as those early concepts are figured out. What I have here today are some early lessons that I have learned in my time with Marathon that should help considerably for those who are struggling just past the starting line. Now, a note. In the interest of getting this video out fast to those who might need this info, footage on screen is mainly going to be generic gameplay. Depending on the time I have for editing, I might slip something relevant in, but I'm shooting from the hip here a bit more than I usually like, and some of the details here may change as we learn more about the game. Anyway, that out of the way, on to the actual content. Six lessons I've learned for success in Marathon. First, make sure you bring enough ammo and supplies for your run. Make sure to bring at least 1 to 2 stacks of ammo for each weapon that you are bringing. Ammo is scarce on the map, and running out is very bad. Mid-run, your best hopes for ammo are either UESC bots or killing other runners, both of which involve substantial risk and can get you killed. The other major supply to make sure you are bringing are healing items like shield recharges and patch kits. Running out of these means you can no longer recover damage and will more than likely die. Depleted patch kits do commonly drop on the map, but they do not heal nearly as much. They are very plentiful, so you can be pretty liberal about using them, and they sell off as junk anyway when you exfil, so you might as well use them to top off on your health between major fights. You will still need to keep a stack of regular healing items with you, however, as having to chug 4 of the depleted ones to fully heal mid-fight is not realistic. You need the real, full-value consumables for quick and meaningful recovery in the middle of a fight. It is also not a bad idea to bring a couple mechanics kits and OS reboot items to quickly shed any nasty debuffs that might be applied to you, because these can really cripple your ability to move, recharge abilities, they can blind you, and all sorts of other nasty effects. No need to stuff all of your inventory slots with these items, but bring enough to get you through a run. Currently, I am usually bringing 2 stacks of ammo per weapon, 1 stack of shield charges, and 1 stack of patch kits, and then 1 or 2 mechanic kits and OS reboots. That's 10 inventory slots taken up, but I will definitely end up freeing up some of those as some of those items are used. As you play, you can adjust from there based on your own experience and what you find yourself needing more or less of, but hopefully that's a good baseline to start with in order to make sure that you're not running out of supplies mid-run. Next, let's talk about Volt versus Kinetic weapons. Much like Bungie's other games, players and bots both have energy shields and health, and weapons are either kinetic or energy based. Just like in Halo and Destiny, energy and kinetic weapons affect an enemy's hit points differently depending on whether you are hitting their shields or their health. Picking the right weapons goes a long way towards making sure that those precious ammo stacks are not burned foolishly. Kinetic weapons use bullets, are either hit scan or use projectiles that are fast enough to feel like hit scan. I am not currently 100% which it is in this game, and are very damaging against enemy health, but ineffective by comparison against shields. The full body shields take less damage compared to health, and riot shields like those used by the Destroyer Shell and some bigger bots will just laugh at your bullets. Reloading a partial mag does not waste your ammo, so reload freely. In Marathon, our energy weapons are called Volt weapons and use batteries as ammo. A very important note, battery weapons waste ammo on reload. If you reload early, the remaining power in the battery is wasted, so think carefully before dumping a battery that's at 70% power. You might be better off hanging on to that to preserve the ammo in your weapon. These weapons are projectile based, so leading your shots is needed to score hits at longer range. They are the opposite of kinetic weapons on damage though. They are less effective versus opponent's health pool, but they will absolutely melt shields, even riot shields. I honestly would strongly consider bringing a Volt weapon on every run. At least that's my thought until I've had a chance to play with weapons like shotguns and sniper rifles enough to get an idea of how well those fare against enemy shields. To wrap this point, use your Volt weapons to strip enemy shields, and then Kinetic weapons to kill the unshielded. This will save you a ton of ammo and lead to faster kills. Third, use your knife. The big hero of saving ammo is the knife. You should get in the habit of using the knife liberally where appropriate. It is capable of killing the common recruit bots of the UESC in 1 or 2 hits, and those kills are silent. It is a free kill that is unlikely to draw the attention of the bot's friends, and makes way less noise than firing your weapons, so any players are a lot less likely to hear you and be drawn towards you. This is really handy when solo, where getting a full mob's attention tends to mean getting swarmed and gunned down. This also makes dealing with the bigger bots a lot easier, as you can pick off their smaller buddies, so you're not fighting the big guys with a bunch of helpers. Hell, if your teammates are drawing the attention of a larger bot and you're low on ammo, going in for a few stabs may not be a bad idea if they're adequately distracted. Do be careful with bosses and mini-bosses, as they might have some nasty surprises for you that we just don't know about yet. Similarly, the knife can make really quick work of other players as well. A detail I noticed is that repeated knife attacks seem to almost run a combo attack that can deliver 3 hits of the knife fairly rapidly, compared to a melee with a weapon which seems to be just a quick bash. Going to have to play with this more, but it seems if you go for melee with a knife, you are heavily advantaged in how much damage you can deal compared to someone who is panic meleeing you by bashing with their weapon. Next up, use your abilities. Abilities can seriously swing a fight in your favor when used. Prime abilities are very strong and have big effects. Tactical abilities are less powerful but have a much quicker cooldown. Primes should not be sat on when you're dealing with other players. Leveraging those abilities as soon as appropriate can be the difference between life and death, and saving it for later becomes kind of pointless if you die. Tactical abilities recharge fast enough that using them versus bots seems fine. The cooldowns on those are quick enough that you probably will not be getting screwed by a cooldown unless you have really bad luck. This is something that I struggle with, as I tend to be super conservative about my ability and item use in other games. So this one is also a reminder to me that sitting on my search and destroy rockets, hoping for a sick clip moment, is a stupid idea, and I should probably let those rockets fly on whatever fool thinks that they are the big time here. Fifth item to pay attention to, the importance of shields. The strength of your shield is a huge determining factor in how long you will be able to survive in a fight. The strength of your shields goes from white to green, blue, purple, and then gold. When shooting enemies, pay close attention to the color of their shield so that you know what you are up against. If yours is green and the other person's is purple, you know you are at a pretty sizable disadvantage, and you may want to think about running away and avoiding this fight. In this game of predator and prey, strong shields go a long way toward making you the predator. Pinging bots also appears to reveal their shield, and at least one was also giving me a gold shield icon when shooting their golden shield, which was probably to warn me that I was outclassed and not doing very much damage. Having a shield is a massive part of your loadout and can easily decide your fate in an ambush. If you get shot first, your shield is the only thing that can save you. Also, the better your shield, the more likely it is that you can overpower another player in a fight. Personally, on a white shield, I would probably avoid any kind of PvP unless I had an absolutely dominant advantage over the other player, and even in that situation, I would be very cautious and wary of engaging. Green shields will at the minimum give you a fighting chance in a fight, even against opponents with blue shields and maybe even purples if you can play your cards right. For that reason, securing shields is a very high priority in the build crafting in this game in my opinion. Where can we get shields from? Fortunately, there is a reliable source in the shop via Point 6, the factions. The 6 factions in Marathon provide different storefronts in the armory where you can purchase gear for credits, as well as upgrade trees where you can buy various permanent upgrades that will last all season, even through your deaths. Leveling these is how you get your long-form progression and open up build crafting that is not reliant on you getting a lucky drop. I have yet to sit down and really go deep on what exactly each is offering, but did find that each of the factions has a theme around what they offer. New Caloric, for example, is all about survival, offering healing consumables, and very importantly, shields. For this reason, I would strongly suggest that you grind out New Caloric first once they are unlocked, so that you have a consistent source of one of the most important items in your build. Rank 5 is where green shields become available, so it's a fairly quick thing you can rush if you do their contracts. Eventually, New Caloric will offer you even better shields like blues and purples, however, you don't necessarily need to go straight for those. I would recommend get the green shields unlocked, and then work on some of the other factions to unlock better weapons and other resources. Moving on to the others, Cyberacne appears to be focused on basics like heat management, loot speed, money making, and sells a slew of basic items. Traxxas looks to be focused on weapon mods and, to borrow some Destiny terminology, primary weapons, particularly those that skew towards longer ranges. Sekiguchi looks heavily focused on shell upgrades, Maida on speed upgrades and gadgets such as claymores, and Arachne seems focused on power weapons, those weapons that deal huge damage with expensive ammo, and melee upgrades. Their weapons also seem to skew towards shotguns and other close range options. Again, these are general and quick impressions of each, having just glanced at each one quickly last night. Hopefully that gives you an idea of where you might want to focus your efforts while leveling the factions. Again, if you really aren't sure, just go for New Caloric and at least grind out until you get that green shield access. Those green shields do a lot for keeping you alive for such a small thing. That covers it for now, and hopefully these points help you on your runs on Tau Ceti. Feel free to comment any other early game wisdom in the comments below, and until next time, somewhere in the heavens, I'll be waiting.